don't want it to be end of the road, but this could be it. They need to boss up and take the win against PPL, or else it'll be curtains.
Heading right into it on Taiko Temple. Taking a look at the starting awakenings, I guess. Are you surprised by this draft at all?
I continuing to have PC issues, so I will get back to you soon.
Okay, well,
I apologize.
In 3 to 5 business days, we'll get the answer. But right now, what I do see is that WEEB is getting blown up, usually playing in the enemy goal box. And we're seeing a JULIETTE goalie.
Oh! Goodness gracious. I think that JULIETTE goalie is a fun pick. I think that I do not necessarily agree with playing JULIETTE goalie in a match. I just don't think that it's your best chance of winning. But here we are. I'm the milkman is ready to milk some fellas on the JULIETTE goalie. And there are parts of it that have potential. You get to dash punch people in the corner, which is especially nice in Taiko, or on Taiko in these tight corners. But unless we see a lot of those, I think it's going to be hard to get value out of this pick.
Well, so far we're seeing the Atlas do some work, a pick that has been popular in the past on Taiko Temple. We haven't seen it in quite a while, but I guess it could work. I'm a little concerned by the lack of mobility overall on this WEEB team, but we'll have to see. We'll have to see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely. The Atlas midfield also just we have seen it. We have seen it before. It is a pick that has seen success, and I think is very difficult to pilot. You definitely have to like funnel through the Atlas in every interaction, and it's going to be doing a lot to help the JULIETTE on defense. But like you said, just no speed and playing into characters like Finny, Luna, and Zentaro, who all have a ton of mobility, is just going to be really difficult. I don't see how they make up that deficit, and without a really strong like damage or KO potential other than like the JULIETTE and Drakkar situations, I think it's going to be difficult for WEEB to get a leg up just comp-wise flat out.
Right now, though, they're finding a lot of possession in these corners. That's another barrier going down. WEEB and Carmine passing back and forth, and Milkman finding the dash punch to save the barrier there. Just enough area of influence to keep this barrier alive. And keep in mind, we are currently watching WEEB be a 4-goal up at the moment, and with the majority of the possession here, but unfortunately losing it for a moment, and Fiery winning the strike war. The game's all tied up.
Holy moly, a 1-1. If I can be completely honest, if you showed me a screenshot of these two teams, like team comps, I would not say 1-1 ever. And this is usually something that you say for like when the game is tied up later, but like now I would expect a crisp 9-0. So having 1 point on the board, obviously it was not their last point, but just in general, I'm pretty impressed.
Oh, but Carmine not looking too healthy now. Almost staggered, almost taken out. There's a Flame Flurry to try and buy some time, but that's going to be a bounce off the center drum. That's going to be the KO. And they're dispatching the Atlas quite efficiently here. This JULIETTE goalie getting in there, though. Milkman playing proactively, but a strike war win from Fiery. A flip available. Average Alex with the boost combo as well. Styling against the JULIETTE goalie, but now that I say it out loud, doesn't sound as impressive.
Yeah, not quite. Turns out the character does not have a whole lot of mobility, but hey, a clip is a clip, and sometimes even if the enemy is making you look good, you're still looking good. At the end of the day, and you always want to take a nice play.
Oh, but that's so much damage. Both barriers down. They've been blown up, and Fiery looking for the KO. The lifeline gonna help. Not the lifeline. The Celestial Intervention gonna help for a little bit longer, but WEEB is also meterless, and this is going to be a really tough situation for WEEB's little bees to get out of, especially on the defense. So much range for that Luna to potentially score in, and not that much reach coming out from the defensive duo of WEEB's little bees.
Yeah, they are sitting ducks in the net. They have to work so much harder to get it out and then get an offense going. But as we see, that's going to be a 3rd point for PPL. It's going in, and like this is what I came to expect. Maloom getting the MVP is going to be nice, and it looks like going to be rewarded with, could be Stacks, could be Manu. A lot of nice picks on the board here. Could even be Stinger. Well, I'm a little behind, but we will have to see how this draft goes down.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. My eyes are definitely on that Stinger, though. The damage output has been PPL's bread and butter so far this game, and it's only going to continue as we go on further here. I wouldn't say it's certain victory just yet, but I think that PPL can be pretty confident, especially after this first draft.
Yeah, I would be feeling pretty confident. They're just a lot of... Like, that first set went pretty well. That is what we like to see. And yeah, the Stinger pickup on Finny is going to be just really nice into WEEB right here. The Drakar just does not have a ton of mobility to get away, and with such low CDs and so many abilities to throw out, it's going to be damage after damage, and that's really their win condition here.
Yeah, Fiery getting knocked away for the moment, but WEEB and Milkman taking way too much damage. PPL, they're not getting flustered by this weird comp. They're just playing the game as normal, and as normal is involving a whole lot of damage here. WEEB regenning back up, but the Stinger doing its work, and Bloom trying to get it out of there. The patience not get caught by the Molten Bolt, and Milkman on death's door, about to be taken out. No more goalie, and Fiery tries to go to the bottom corner. Average out with the follow-up before Carmine Strike comes back up. PPL looking dominant in this first game with a huge lead at the moment.
Yeah, definitely just pulling ahead. I believe that's 4 points in a row, just going for it. And honestly, I'm looking at the picks that Weasel Bees got in that last draft, and like the missile or the primetime is going to be very nice. And it's such an uphill battle for this team comp, and at any moment someone can just die, and then that's going to be a ton of... I don't think that they can survive in a power play at all, and that's exactly what PPL is playing for right here.
Another goal coming in. Average Alex, the one with the boost. It's another PPL dominant performance at the moment, it seems like. And the question is, can we find any footing?
Yeah, they just need something, get a little bit to get going. We could be seeing some, like 1 point turns into a set, and that could turn into a major boon in the Awakening draft. And if they can get some mobility or survivability, that would be legendary. But they're a double power play for PPL. Both forwards taken down, and Milkman is just doing his best to hold through here. But we staggered again, and like it's just KO after KO after KO. They have the Atlas ult, but every 50 seconds is just not frequent enough to save all the damage coming out from PPL here.
Yeah, every 50 seconds, 50-second passes, and in those 50 seconds, WEEB members are getting KO'd. WEEB taken out by Bloom while going for the orb. Average Alex navigating the midfield. Carmine holding for quite a while, but they could send it around him here. Good dribbles for now, but no real attempt at the barriers, as Bloom it just doesn't have to play defense at all, it feels like.
Yeah, and that's exactly where you want your Finny to be, just skating on going forward with these boots. A million abilities to help on offense and overwhelm, again, this low mobility comp. Like, boom, ton of core speed out right there. That's a barrier, and just each individual instance, each opportunity PPL has feels way more valuable than vice versa, because they just have so many more tools to score on the Juliette goalie, you know?
Yeah, and now it's going to get even harder. Plenty of damage awakenings on the board here. The question is which one will be taken. I'm looking at the prize fighter, but the spec training is what's opted for. 1-2 punch, not nearly as much of a threat on the goalie Juliette as it is on the forward. Of course, the core speed's nice, but not a dangerous awakening really to go up against. 1-2 punch also taken away from the Drakar, and if you dare to take prize fighter here, I feel like WEEB is gonna find himself with 0 stacks more often than not.
Yeah, just like low key pick up that super surge and just be a little bit faster. Like at this point, it is so tough. We saw WEEB not walk up on kickoff there, which is very smart. Obviously, anytime that he's outside of his side of the field is just dangerous. But with the nice double barrier, maybe with how he's playing, we might see the prize fighter stay alive as a KO comes out, and suddenly WEEB is getting exactly what they need with a great dribble and a goal. Things might be turning around.
That's +1 stack right now. It's looking quite doable for Wee's Little Bees if they can keep the ball rolling, but it really depends on catching Fiery off guard, finding a big KO. If there's no power play, it's still looking as difficult as ever.
Yeah, they just need every inch that they can get, and right now with Carmine and I'm the Milkman taken down to 0, we saw the recovery drone proc, and like they just there's the Atlas ult, but with both barriers down, I don't know if it's going to be enough. That's so many resources spent just staying alive, and now you still don't have the barriers.
Yeah, no barriers, no room to breathe. Average Alex flying in there, not even needing the flip. PPL 2 goals away, and the PP Legends really need this win. They're currently sitting at 3 and 4, within striking distance of playoffs, and with a date with EKC in that week 9. It is not an easy road for them as WEEB finds a big KO. That's another prize fighter stack.
Yep, another prize fighter stack, but with Carmine down, that's going to be a barrier right there. And yeah, PPL really want this win. You know, they could make it with a 4-5 record, and so this would be a 4th win. EKC right now, I believe, the 2nd team to be confirmed for playoffs. And you ask me, I don't want to play week 9 against a playoff, like the 2nd qualified team. That sucks. That seems really hard. And so a win here cements that they will still be in the running. It means that their week 9 could go, it's so much more comfortable. They have so much more room to play around with. And really both these teams just want a little bit of room. We see WEEB, again, doesn't have any, but if they're able to bring this game back, then suddenly the landscape changes. We're working with a different situation. They'd be 1 win away from maintaining their position, fighting for playoffs.
Yeah, Milkman, with that additional speed, might be able to do a little bit more in the saving department, perhaps. Stacks on stacks stacked up, patrolling the midfield. But that rocket just getting it past, and Fiery and Average Alex putting on so much damage, forcing the flip out of WEEB here. Could be a KO soon, but Milkman also incredibly low. The dash completely ricocheting Fiery off the top wall. Weird knockback end. And that's a snipe onto WEEB from Bloom. It's looking good for PPL at this point.
Yeah, it's starting to bring it back in this set, which is weird landscape to be, but the Finny debuff, just Bloom has so much room to work with, and that got so much damage onto Carmine. WEEB is back. Carmine has a flip and is able to stop Average Alex from rushing in, but is still going to be knocked out right there, and Juliette just doesn't have the tools to handle a flip in a 1v1 situation like that.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit of unfamiliarity from Milkman. Flame Flurry, preemptive, is just asking the opponent to just hit away from you, because Juliette just doesn't move, pretty much. Like, incredibly slow move speed. I think if the Milkman, if Trevor goes back and studies the VODs and reinforces their knowledge of the Juliette goalie pick, they could have a better performance in the future on this interesting goalie.
Yeah, interesting indeed. I'm actually, the cogs are working in my brain here, and Julie Fiery Flurry is very similar to Mako secondary. They self-slow, but holds really well. Like, there are things, you know, moving parts here that make Juliette like valuable tools. Problem is that instead of being every 20 seconds, it's every 35, I believe, and so not quite as reliable as the Fiery Flurry is. Cold, but Average Alex is gonna just dash in, put it in right there. Nothing that Wee's Little Bees could do, and that's game 1 to PPL.
Wow, I didn't even realize the game was over. What?
Yeah.
I forgot to play the outro music. Okay, well, there it is. But yeah, that game.
Let's go PPL! Wow.
That game was a game of all time.
Yeah, I couldn't say it better myself. Just PPL showing up, putting out a lot of damage. We see 73 redirects, which is like how he plays the game in his ballpark, but still just I feel like a lot of damage, a lot of situations that put Wee into an uncomfortable spot. And he was really all the offense they had, because his teammates were Julie goalie and Atlas midfield. And those are not characters that can transition from defense to offense comfortably enough to support. It kind of had to be Wee go 1v Blizzy, LeBron James style, and PPL recognized that and said, we're just going to shut that down. We did see we get a few prizefighter stacks, get the opportunities to make something happen in terms of power plays, in terms of getting that power and getting scaling going. But it's just, in this situation, I don't think there was enough going for the team as a whole to uphold what we was able to make done. And just in general, they had PPL had so many more opportunities than We's Little Bees had to do anything, really. And when you pick 3 melee characters and with no mobility, I think that is exactly how you expect the game to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, that is indeed the case here. But we're heading on to game 2, and maybe game 2 will be a little bit different. We're going to be on Night Market, which is PPL's pick. We's Little Bees, I wonder what they're going to cook up in the next game.
Literally could be anything. Like in draft, you look at the 3 characters they picked, and like Julie is a weird situation. But it's like, oh, an Atlas and then like double brawler maybe. Or like even Drakkar midfield. We've been seeing that come back. We've been seeing a lot of that. Like, go get him, Tiger. This was not any of that. So like it could legitimately be anything. But really, like I'm excited to see what they have. It is a coin flip. They could show up with a more conventional comp and get to work. Try and bring it back in this game deficit here, or maybe we see just a nice fun game going down here. Anything could happen, but I'm very curious to see how, or just like the thought process behind these picks and how they're approaching this series mentally. I think that's a complete enigma. I would love to talk about it. I have no idea. So we're just gonna have to wait and see what's cooking up in the hive for game 2.
Yeah, we'll have to see. We're just waiting on side select from We's Little Bees. And other than that, I guess, what else are we thinking of here?
Let's see. I am looking at the map select, and we're going to Night Market next. So honestly, hey, wouldn't mind seeing the Julie pick contested by either team. It was PPL's map pick, so we're going to see We's Little Bees on blue side, unless they choose red side. But who could say, really? I wouldn't mind just locking up first pick Julie for my brawler if I'm We's Little Bees. That guy goes crazy on the pick. That's exactly what I would be looking for. And it looks like they are going to go blue side. So locking that in, we could be seeing some Juliette. Always love that. And for PPL, I think they're just going to pick, like, if they could get the same 3 characters in the next draft, I'd be pretty happy if I'm PPL. Like, I like their game plan. I like how they play it. It's looking good. The Finny, the Luna, like, we're just picking a bunch of damage characters and going crazy on it. And what more could you want in this meta? Grab your siphoning wands. It's time to get to work, and getting to work PPL has been doing.
Yep, that is indeed the case. We'll see how it goes. The draft is coming up, so we'll have the starting awakenings to talk about as well. And with that, we're seeing yet another damage start in a day of damage starts. Almost entirely just damage starts.
It is getting violent out here. Spark of Strength and Deadeye. That Luna pick looking mighty nice for PPL right now. Could also be picked by Carmine. We've seen him play it before, or could be. Honestly, this puts We's Little Bees draft in an interesting spot. They could ban Luna, first pick Julie, and then there's still, like, PPL still just going to be picking damage characters. Like, that's not going to change. But taking the Luna off the board, I've been seeing Average Alex just frag out with it, and especially in that last game, that last point scored by him off a dash, like it's a great pick on Deadeye start. That's the Luna start. Everyone sees Deadeye and says, if the enemy team can pick Luna, we might want to do something about that. But of course, again, I think WeasLittleBees picking Juliette first could be great. We are seeing the Luna ban come in, and so yeah, they just not dealing with it. Again, Deadeye start. We're going to be seeing like Finnies and Vices, and at least I would hope. And so, there are plenty of characters that can make use of Deadeye, but I think banning the Average Alex Luna is a pretty good idea.
Yeah, that's a big ban coming up. The Finny also taken off the table. I'm a little bit more interested about that ban. I feel like that isn't like the most necessary of bans, especially in this situation. We'll see though.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I don't know if I'm the Milkman plays Finny, but I do know someone on that squad who does, and that's Carmine. We've seen the Finny midfield come out, and so I think taking Finny off the board. It could also be a matchup thing. We're seeing first pick Vice. I have not studied up on my goalie matchup charts in a while, not since the beginning of last patch, but I do know that like Vice has there are a lot of situations where you can just checkmate Vice, where Vice like looks great. I think that's a top contender for best character in the game right now. You want to be picking Vice, but if you're picking it into a bad situation, those words that just came out of my mouth, I'm going to pick Vice in a bad situation. That doesn't seem good, believe it or not. And so banning the Finny could just be a way of preventing any of that from happening. But as the draft continues, we are seeing Kazan picked up for PPL. Just here come the damage characters. That's probably going to be goalie. If I had to guess, we've been seeing Bloom play that. We've been seeing it kind of come back, which for a while it was considered just a very weak pick in metas closer to speed meta because there's no defense. Melee goalie City, hard to pick Amy because how's she going to stop anything? But here, damage meta time, different story. Able to get a lot of value off of that. That being said, for PPL, they're rounding off the comp with now, and that means that a lot of the responsibility for dealing damage is going to Kazan, and the KO confirms really have to lie with Kazan here if they want to make it happen. Vice versa, obviously, we've got Vice, Zentaro, Estelle on the side of WeasLittleBees. That's a damage comp. That's really nice. I think that's a better damage comp than what PPL has, and if they're able to execute on it, we could be seeing a game 3.
Yep. We'll see how it goes. We should be ready to head into the game itself now. Just gotta wait for the teams to ready up, and we will be heading on to Night Market for the potential end to the 4th match of the day. But if WeasLittleBees can lock in and keep their playoff hopes alive, it'll be even harder to determine who's making it to playoffs.
Yeah, it will. We were talking before the match started about teams making playoffs, and if you weren't aware, I have a very vested interest in which teams make playoffs for potential future projects. So honestly, would not mind if we got this a little bit more clear cut. That being said, if WeasLittleBees are to win this game, I'm ready for them to win the whole thing. Like just reverse sweep. That would be awesome. Does not make things easier. Definitely not. But it's hard to turn down an exciting match. And again, I really like their comp. Like they're playing incredibly hard damage into now Kazan, who are famously characters with pretty low stagger. If you get a KO on one of them, and then it's the other one and Imi left on defense. And on paper, I don't like the sound of that. That sounds awful. That sounds like you lose the point immediately. And already I'm the milkman. I don't think I've ever seen this guy play Vice, but just getting in there, tearing it up, and like I would love to say like I'm hyping it up for caster excitement. I think that WeeZLittleBees can win this. I think that they have a great comp. I think that they're ready to play. I don't know what happened in the first game, but here they are, ready to tear it up. I'm excited.
It's gonna be quite interesting to watch this game, but keep in mind WeeZLittleBees have taken down some very solid teams, right? They took down Hungry Like Nephew, after all, so not gonna go down without a fight unless they decide to pick Juliette Goalie.
Right, and that's under the rug. I'm ready to see WeeZLittleBees put it all on the line here. And get to work. Already opening the net, all barriers down. Like, again, I'm ready. They have this shot. I'm ready for them to take it. They just need to play for damage, and we're seeing a lot of it come onto Average Alex. And just be really careful. They have a couple flips. Like, this is looking good for WeeZLittleBees here.
Oh, a bit of a scary bounce, but Milkman tracks it adequately. Fiery with the core speed. But the core speed right back into Supernova. It's looking dangerous for Fiery as well. The high damage comp of WeeZLittleBees is doing some magic at the moment.
Yep, getting that work done. We are seeing the siphoning ones in Taro. Maxwell's Estelle, which, you know, gonna be nice, but we putting it in right there. And you know, the defense for PPL, I think, is going to be just so impossible when WeeZLittleBees has a power play. A KO occurs, and I don't see how they're going to hold on. Average Alex, I think, has the best opportunity as now, and that's a lot of work and pressure going on to them. But here, PPL starting to respond in kind. This is a little bit more how I think they want the game to be played. And when they're alive, hey, things are looking way easier, way more playable, but as the point goes on, the damage will only continue to stack.
See what happens here. Average Alex the flip available, Bloom as well, but you got to watch out for the damage coming in here. Average Alex taken down pretty low, flip available to the top side, not quite finding it all the way through, and with Average Alex taken low, the WeeZLittleBees are putting PPL on quite a timer here, but with the KO onto Wee, it's a lot easier for PPL to just find some space to play.
Definitely, and I think that's PPL's win condition here is just if they can KO Wee on the Zentaro, they get all the space that they want to work with. You know, in the power play, they can comfortably play that core control situation how they want, and there you have the Kazan. You have the Kazan into a Vice. You're able to hook and then strike, try and get it around and through. It's everything that they want. They just have to get there. They have to get the damage down. And again, I think that unless Fiery really sits down and starts putting damage onto Wee very intentionally, it just starts aping out. Unless that happens, it's going to be tough. And I don't know how much the damage can stick with just Naimi working on it.
Yeah, but they're angling and scheming. They take out Wee. And with that, maybe they can shoot for victory here. But there's a Supernova from Milkman getting it out of there. Carmine low now. And if they can keep this damage going on to Carmine, they can continue the power play. But they drop a barrier, and now they're in quite a bit of trouble. Wee on the top side, getting in there. And Carmine almost with the strike, not quite. Milkman, Firewall Sentry, doing so much damage to Wee as well. And now Fiery's low, but... and Wee heals up, but the barrier is taken, and Milkman's forced to flip defensively. Average Alex getting it out of there, but Wee maintaining possession, and Milkman forward, not quite enough. WeeZLittleBees are keeping things alive for now, but the PP Legends, oh no! What a strike war! Getting it past Bloom, and Wee will escort the core in. And WeeZLittleBees, they're looking like they have to start something here in this game.
Yeah, really, and I am the Milkman taking MVP. Again, haven't seen this guy play Vice ever, but he is putting on an all-star performance right now, showing up. Like, for a guy that's been known to just play Atlas and Mako, we've seen him pull out Era and claim some games on it. We're seeing the Vice now. we're seeing, I think, the start of something wonderful. This Vice is putting in so much work, gets the team player as well, which makes defense so much easier. You just have a ton of core speed to get it out, get it around. Going to be tough to get it around a character like Kazan, who can always hook your clear. But at the end of the day, like, that's still a defensive bonus that they picked up, and the bulk up going to Carmine here, denying it from PPL, not letting them have any stagger, getting more power to try and find maybe some Quangles, edge KOs, or just more damage. And we're on the other side, we are seeing a lot of damage come onto WEEB, so it's the damage race is on. It's here, and PPL is winning it right now. But we saw WeeZlittleBees doing a great job last set. It could go either way here.
Yeah, I think PPL are shifting gears a little bit. They need to find a way to survive instead of trying to compete in the damage race, and so far they're surviving quite well. And there's the top spin, a bit of a blunder from Milkman on the save there. But it's all right as long as the supernova comes out. Enough damage onto Fiery, enough to get the KO, but the net's still open. You got to watch out for Bloom now, who could leap forward at any moment here. Just ramping up as the game goes on. Locked in the goalie of PPL. WEEB to the top side and unable to secure the barrier, though, and a flip out from Bloom all the way to the bottom corner. Dangerous spot to be in if you're the Milkman here, as Fiery is back. Fiery is looking, but flipped off the edge, and yo, that guy just came back.
Yeah, and just got back, got into the enemy side, started trying to tear it up, and got punished by a 1,000 cooldowns on his head. And back again, getting back into the fray. But I think with all the damage that WEEB can threaten, I think Fiery has to play way safer. Has to play around the damage, stay alive, and be able to show up and put out some good scoring attempts. That's really how Kazan functions. As long as you're on the field, you are an immense threat, and when you get taken off the field, you are obviously no longer a threat. And here we're just seeing Fiery get taken lower and lower again. Like, it's looking really difficult for PPL to have a functioning offense right now.
But all they need is one shot here, almost getting it past Milkman. Good defense by the Vice, and you gotta watch out too if you're Fiery, right? The Vice has some killer tunes, the sound-based abilities. No special properties other than theming, but that's a lot of damage against the relatively squishy Kazan. Fiery already half health, almost low, but there is some Bloom actually hit stunning everyone on the top side. Milkman, really not Milkman's fault on this one. The top side was covered by both forwards, but Bloom got in there and stunned everyone.
Yeah, and I really think Bloom is the star piece of this comp for PPL. I think that he has a lot of work to do. If they're going to win this game, he's going to have to, hold on defense against everything that WeeZlittleBees is putting out, and put on the damage. And there, getting a KO, we're starting to see it in action, getting a lot of offense generated with this turret, and just has these dashes in. It's just, the Ami pick has so much potential on offense, as long as Bloom can hold on to the barriers, not get taken down by the Estelle and Zentaro, which is a lot easier said than done. Then I think PPL has a nice chance. But again, first set went to WeeZlittleBees. We're just going to have to see. And a ton of damage onto Average Alex. It's still just so difficult. But oh my god, a great opportunity found by Fiery, and that's going to be a second point for PPL. They're doing it. They're bringing it back here.
Yeah, you can say that Bloom is the red ace here. Just the sole member that has so much agency, so much immediate mobility on the side of PPL, and that's opening up a lot of space for Fiery to play in the enemy net. Look, like right here, the hit stun on top side, Fiery with a perfect hook on the bottom, and now PPL are forcing WEEB on defense, and that means less damage output.
Yeah, I feel like normally Average Alex, especially on the Luna, talked about earlier, has a lot of that agency and creates a lot of those opportunities, but here it's it's shouldering Bloom while Average Alex plays the now to try and keep the team alive, going for a flip. Bloom, though, unable to get a flip or any good offense off that dash, but still, as long as PPL can hold on, Fiery's back, and they have, right now, full health bars, which is everything they need to get things going. And Carmine looking low. They have all these, they're building these opportunities, but an edge KO right there, and Fiery's down. All of a sudden, WeeZlittleBees has control again.
Yeah, just a little further for the side of PPL, but it's looking like it's a little bit too far here. The barrier's taken. Milkman in there with the core speed. Not quite enough, but there's the play by Carmine and WEEB on the top side. Wee's Little Bees survive in this set and maybe could bring it all the way back for a 2-0 set lead, but PPL, they've been looking good. They just got to survive somehow because the meter is relatively low.
Yeah, a great collapse out of Wee's Little Bees. A scary barrier right there off the flip. A second barrier, and all of a sudden, PPL might be taking this set. You mentioned that Wee's Little Bees could make the comeback, but I feel like PPL has made the adjustment. They figured out how they have to play, and they're doing an average. Alex just sliding into that top corner there. The sets are tied up. We have a game on our hands.
Yeah, they made a little bit of a tactical tweak. Now they're shooting for victory here. The game's tied up, but it feels like there's a lot of control on the side of PPL. Although heavy impact probably going to be denied here by Bloom unless Twin Drive is opted for. That's going to be an interesting choice. It's actually the spec trading that's denied away, even though Milkman wasn't focused on that. But another thing is, right, 0 creation characters on the side of Wee's Little Bees. Monumentalist going to be sailing down to the now. I feel like it would have either way in this particular draft, but that's definitely interesting to look at. But I don't really like the spec training pickup from Bloom. Milkman would have gotten heavy impact regardless, and either a Twin Drive or something else might have been a little bit more valuable for this IME.
Yeah, I think so. The specialized training is you get one big bomb, one big boom, and that's the entire value of the Awakening on Vice, whereas heavy impact is much more consistent damage coming out. And that, I think, in this situation sounds a lot scarier. You can evade the big boom, but you can't evade every power chord coming out. That being said, we taken down. PPL has won the damage race to this point, and now again, like you said, the Monu pickup, I think that's the big take right here. Average Alex just gains so much more utility and so much more coverage, especially in these lanes. Being able to cover them entirely with a mine is going to be big and allows Average Alex to be so much more impactful. But until then, it's a lot of damage coming onto WEEB again, but both nets are open. Both teams have opportunities here.
Oh, Bloom barely saving it, and still a power play for PPL. They're looking for a big opportunity with this flip to the bottom side, Fiery to the top side, and Trevor panics a little bit in that situation, and Fiery immediately capitalizes. Calm, cool, and collected, and makes the final push happen.
Yeah, exactly what I would come to expect out of PPL. Fiery just able to capitalize so well. And again, when Fiery's alive on the board, they're just making magic happen, and that's what PPL needs here. A strong offensive tool to just get the ball rolling, because otherwise, in this situation, the now is gone. But otherwise, it's going to be like Bloom supporting him on offense while Average Alex is in a more difficult situation trying to convert to offense. But here, just power play found by Wee's Little Bees. Nothing much gotten from it. And here, both barriers down. It feels like PPL is in full control of the game now.
Yeah. And right now, Average Alex is going to need to be a bit of an escape artist to survive this one. Knocks WEEB away from the orb, finds some healing, and manages to get it done. Fiery, a beeline burst towards the goal at the moment. Flip available. They're trying to replicate the success they had earlier, but not quite. The ping pong in the corner and flipped away is WEEB, and no one's there to cover the top side after that KO. PPL looking very solid in this third set.
Yeah, it's, I think, really interesting how this is going. Like I mentioned before, I feel like a lot of the game is going to fall to Bloom and Fiery here. And so Average Alex getting KO'd is bad. It's obviously bad, but hasn't been benefiting Wee's Little Bees in the way that they want to. They get the power play, and here they get the goal. 1 point on the board, but I feel like as long as Bloom and especially Fiery are on board, full health, or at least healthy enough to participate in the game, I don't know how much they're going to be getting off of the damage on Average Alex. I feel like PPL just still has so much control and potential when Fiery is on the board.
Yeah, that was a huge barrier take with the flip forward to Wee low, but look at the other side. Wee's Little Bees creating some offense so quickly here. Carmine now to the top side, trying to replicate the previous point, not quite. But you got to be prepared for that pass, Milkman. Flip forced out, and now Average Alex has control. There's the Monu secondary, not quite going to reach the core. And Bloom now in also a difficult situation, but we stunned away Average Alex to the other side. Dangerous spot now for Bloom, but picks the right direction. And once again, PPL get out of danger, but they still need to find the goal. Milkman pushing forward, not quite enough, but there's Carmine on the follow-up. Finds the goal, finds the KO, and Wee's Little Bees are back.
Yeah, all of a sudden, tie game, and there we're just seeing so much value out of Estelle. I feel like it's super easy to talk about, but Estelle just is such an easy, like, bread and butter, fries on the bag character. You get your piercing shot, and you get a ton of value out of it every time. And here, I especially like it in this comp, in these damage comps, where you show up and you make up a lot of the core control for your team, because obviously Zen and Vice have a lot of mobility, have a lot of coverage on the map, but it's all tied together by this Estelle, who's able to make up all the deficits that these other two characters have. That being said, Carmine's very low. We taken down, and all of a sudden PPL here getting the ball rolling, not willing to give up this set, looking to get this barrier, but we back, and all of a sudden, again, Carmine low, but it's both teams are just fighting back and forth to get these last barriers.
It's looking very confident from PPL for the moment, but oh, what the hell? Carmine bounced twice off the bottom wall, not quite getting the KO, but they find it on the third try here. And now they need to actually secure this goal. Oh, Milkman, almost a perfect angle on that power chord, but not perfect enough. And there's Average Alex, there's Fiery, there's the set for PPL. They get it done.
Yeah, really down to the wire there, but PPL able to clinch it in the end there. Bloom getting the well-deserved MVP in that set, and could be taking extra special for the turret. Dash Awakening, Explosive Entrance would be incredibly sexy here, just having so much more coverage, but going to be taking the extra special. It's just such a nice awakening on Imeagle. You get the turret for defense, you get the turret for offense. Like, it's just really nice. But that's a second Stagger Awakening, the second Stagger Awakening going to Carmine, turning into a little bit of an unkillable god here, and Spark being denied by I Am the Milkman. And I think we saw Spark of Leadership last draft. I don't know if it was picked up, but that's looking like all Sparks down. Pretty awkward spot. We having two Sparks, not going to be able to get any more, but with speed and strength, going to be a nice, still sitting pretty. That being said, I feel like we is taking a lot of damage, and PPL really just they still have so much control in this game.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why that draft went the way it did. I feel like trying to drop the final Spark to Lee would have been pretty valuable there. Instead, it's a single Spark on Milkman, and it's the defense not quite getting there. PPL, it feels like they have the scaling on their side. It feels like they know the game plan, and playtime's over, perhaps.
Yep, they're just showing up. Go time. They want this win. They really want this win. I wouldn't say need this win. They can still win in week 9, but if they want to maintain a comfortable spot in playoffs contention, they need this win. And obviously, Wee's Little Bees absolutely needs this win here. They need to find an opportunity to fight back. They have these two flips. They can make something happen. They have a lot of damage on Fiery too, which is what I'm looking at, and almost a KO onto Average Alex. All of a sudden, Wee's Little Bees is fighting back. This is the perfect storm right now. All it takes is a trickle, and this is the trickle that I'm looking at right here.
Oh, but Bloom finds the outplay. There's a good strike core by Carmine on the other side, and Bloom forced to get it out of the corner. And right now, Wee is pushing forward, burning the flip so well. Fiery, the solo offense here, looking for an opportunity, not quite in this fast-paced point. Fiery's going to have to watch out, taking way too much damage at the moment.
Yeah, but dashing in, gets the flip, shut out by I Am the Milkman, not letting that go, and now Fiery's looking incredibly low. Here, I feel like we're just seeing, it feels like this point has been entirely in Wee's Little Bees' control, and They just need to get that opportunity. And again, Estelle and Zentaro, those are two characters that can capitalize really well on just one opportunity. Here, we just need to see it, and that's almost it. But Bloom with a great save, and all of a sudden, PPL is just, they're still holding on. They are not relenting this point.
Yeah, keeping the lead is difficult here for PPL, but they're getting it done. They find the barrier. Fiery with the hook. Fiery with the strike ward. Not quite enough, but it's almost enough here for Fiery as Bloom keeps possession in the hands of PPL. Average Alex dropping back. Oh no! I'm the milkman, not prepared for that pass as Carmine gets a goal for the wrong team.
Yeah, unfortunate situation, but that's taken us to series point. PPL looking to put the final nail in the coffin. They just, like, if this point, or if this game goes any longer, I feel like that's just opportunities for Wee's Little Beast to show up, and with we getting taken down there, PPL starting strong, but they just need to finish it, and I'm the milkman. We haven't been seeing a whole lot of offensive opportunities come out of him, but here, in the power play, pushing up, looking to get something done, stall out in the meantime, and is now becoming the target for the damage. All of a sudden, they have the net open, but Wee's Little Beast being forced to play back a little bit right there. Just kidding. Carmine shows up. He's able to get it through the corner. Some Crystal Thorns be upon ye, and I think Wee's Little Beast can come back here.
Yeah, it's funny how they seem more calm and collected after the classic Carmine own goal. And maybe this is business as usual for them here. And we're really impressed with that kind of iron will. It's a breath of fresh air after watching some teams unable to keep their composure and shake things out. They're really staying level-headed at the moment. But we need to be careful. There's the hook. There's the KO. Fiery building up a ton of meter. And this is going to be a scary point for Wee's Little Beast to survive in.
Yeah, definitely. But like you said, they've been playing this point with great confidence. And like right there, I am the milkman, just unfazed by Fiery's flip. And it's really impressive. Wee's Little Beast, new team to NASL this season, showing up. Obviously, Carmine played last season, but we and I'm the milkman, just complete rookies here and showing up right now. They have the net open. I'm the milkman with a flip. They have, this is a repeat of last point. They have exactly what they want. They're in the position. They have them right where they want them. And as long as they hold on to this barrier, which I'm the milkman has a flip to do, it's looking great for Wee's Little Bees.
Oh, and Milkman almost an opportunity here. And Bloom keeping it away, but needs to keep it going. There's the KO onto Average Alex. Bloom looking lonely in the net, and a perfect shot by Wee to the top side. Wow. This is an impressive turnaround from Wee's Little Bees. And
yeah,
maybe they can turn everything around in this game.
The entire atmosphere of this game has changed completely. I feel like PPL is nervous in an uncomfortable spot, and Wee's Little Bees, they are completely unfazed. They are here to play. Something clicked, something changed, and they are so comfortable and just unfortunate now primary there. Dorito sending it back into the net, but it's like I feel like I'm watching a different team here, and they are here to play. They are not ready to give it up just yet.
Yeah, they seem so calm in a crowd as well. Like when there's a clump in a top corner, Wee's Little Bees thrive on the chaos. They get the hot shot, the core speed. They're going to be the ones creating that kind of difficult situation for Bloom on the other end. And on the IME goalie needs to be a lot more careful in those situations. Super Surge, though, that could be big for the additional reach, for the additional knockback on that Super Surge. And the Stinger as well. So much uptime on the Kazan. With the wand as well, PPL could be focusing on the damage here.
Yeah, absolutely. We saw the Adrenaline Rush land on Average Alex. Not the person I think it is best used on. We could see a different thing, but here, Carmine getting the hot shot, one of Estelle's best awakenings, and just getting value out of it right away. Wee's Little Bees are just swarming the net right here. They are taking advantage of PPL's comp here. They have the weaker defense, which is weird to say with obviously looking at Wee's Little Bees comp, but they are not able to hold on against these onslaughts that Wee's Little Bees are putting on. And again, they are playing so confidently. They are playing like they're ahead, like they own the map. And right now they are ahead.
Yeah, they're playing like they have nothing to lose. They're completely unruffled right now. And just taking barrier after barrier, one at a time. It's just a constant offense coming out from Wee's Little Bees. The damage pressure not quite there from PPL and average. Alex, actually the one who is taking way too much damage at the moment. Almost staggered. One more ability will do it here. Okay, two, I lied. But forced to flip away. And PPL, this can't mount an offense. It's looking so difficult for them. We now looking for the KO. Average Alex in a lot of trouble. They can't even get the recovery drone off, and that's another power play.
Yeah, PPL is just crammed inside their own net right now, and that gives I Am the Milkman free reign to just push forward. He has been doing a ton on offense here, and Carmine obviously sealing the deal on that point, putting it in. Been doing that for several of these points. Again, just some incredible Estelle value, and I feel like Wee's Little Bees, they just have so much more coverage in the midfield across the entire board, and like PPL can't get out of their side. They are stuck on defense permanently, and they can't win from the situation. The Army needs to have room to breathe to push forward.
All right, well that's one at least. Fiery looking for a little bit more, but Milkman with the delay. And with an open net, it's once again a doom scenario. There's Milkman with the snipe, and Wee's Little Bees, despite getting KO'd at the end, they will send us to a third game.
Holy moly, hero play out of I Am the Milkman, jumping in, power cording it right in the net, right after Carmine gets knocked down, and we're going to a game 3. After that first game, we're going to a game 3, and like it all comes down to this. Both these teams really want this win, and going to Gates of Obscura on the third map, like I'm locked in my chair. We're putting this in all-wheel drive. I'm ready to see what these teams are cooking up on this last map here.
Yeah, we'll have to see what they do, but Wee's Little Bees, from what I've seen in that game, they shouldn't have too much trouble keeping the lead. They're just putting on so much pressure onto PPL, and it's hard. It's hard facing an opponent that picks Juliette Goalie and then completely changes things. And maybe it was all part of their plan. It was a masterful gambit.
Masterful indeed. Go in and make the enemy let their guard down, and then boom, like 300 redirects on Carmine, 260 on I Am the Milkman with 81 saves, 6 goals on Carmine as well. Like the whole landscape changed. Everything was different. Everything was different starting into that game, and then once things clicked for Wee's Little Bees, they just completely sent it straight to game 3. And here, PPL on the back foot, they have to figure out how to respond to what they just saw. And like you said, how do you respond to the team that picked Juliette Goalie and then won game 2? Like that sucks. That's really awkward. They can do anything.
PPL are just gonna have to ramp up a little bit more in this next game here, because in that second game was theirs to win. It really felt like they were in a position where they should have been controlling things. Instead, Wee's Little Bees stayed steadfast, and it's just impressive, the Wee's Little Bees' unyielding spirit.
Yeah, honestly, the power of friendship is that strong, and don't you forget it. Like you said, yeah, that was PPL's game to win, and to lose that was their map pick. Like, to lose that, it's an uncomfortable spot. And here, we're going to be seeing PPL, obviously last map being Wee's Little Bees map pick. We're going to be seeing PPL on blue side, and maybe that's the magic. Maybe Wee's Little Bees really wanted blue side, but I feel like they got just a beautiful comp, and that was not blue side reliant. They did first pick the Vice, which did a ton of work, so we could see that. Band picked first by PPL, or something like that. I would put a lot of prio on not letting the Vice fly, because then the Milkman will show up, and like his other picks are Atlas, Mako, and Era, and those are not Vice. again, the Vice was so pivotal to their success. I believe that having that on the board, it will be banned. It will not be allowed. I think that's a very smart play by PPL and puts Weasel Bees in an awkward spot on another damage start. Happy 1-2 punch, everyone.
Why? I feel like every single start this NASL day has been a damage start. Or maybe half the awakenings in the pool are damage awakenings.
Could be true.
But we'll see. The device goalie is gone. What will the milkman opt for is the question. Has picked the era quite a bit in NASL. Of course, can play the Mako. I really like the era though, in particular. It does have that speed, that agency in the midfield, and really lets the wee little bees push forward together. And that kind of thing is important, especially if they're prepared to pass and find those triangle plays in the enemy box. And that's what they did in the past. We'll see if they can do it again. But right now, what they're first picking is the Luna, potentially for Carmine.
Ooh, that's really exciting. And I like that pick on the 1-2 punch start. But I agree. I would love to see the era pick. I don't want to say melee goalies are dead. Anything is possible. It's still early in the patch, and we could still see what pans out. Like, I think Atlas still has a lot of value as a healer. Like, there's still plenty of... nothing is set in stone that solidly. But the era is exactly how they want to play with the all-out offense. Just push forward. And, again, they cram PPL into their side of the net that whole game.
Is it going to be an era third pick?
Oh, show it to me.
It's probably a Dubu goalie, but it could be the Dubu brawler. It could be the Dubu midfield. It could be the Dubu anything.
It could be the Dubu. And welcome to We Can Flex Dubu into all three positions. Our draft is a drafting masterclass. Honestly, like that's pretty terrifying. But yeah, I'm looking forward to.
There's the era.
To this winner pick. But era, beautiful. Again, just if they can persist in having the offense and continually forcing the enemy team to be on defense, they should win. That is the power of a pick like Era of Vice. They're going to show up. It really is looking like the Dubu midfield. And then here comes Kazan. I believe Weasel Bees beat Hug on Gates with Dubu midfield. So obviously this is their comfort. This is exactly what they want. This is a nice place to be. And, Kazan on 1-2 punch start. We see PPL just locking in the full damage. They've got the Luna. I like their odds here, but I feel like Weasel Bees knows what they're doing. And again, the wildcard team who's just kind of picking anything, I'd be scared if I feel like they know what they're doing here.
Yeah, and especially if you're picking a comp like this, if you're picking a Luna, Finny, Zentaro, you gotta really watch out for the beeline burst coming out of Weeb, right? This Dubu in particular, when sped up by the era, is gonna be such a threat in those Gates of Obscura corners, and that could be the top pick of this game.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think that's the secret sauce to this comp, is because we've heard some midfielders talk about Dubu midfield, and the consensus seems to be size and speed are your two big picks. So if you are able to enable your Dubu with some speed, and obviously we've got this size start going on, that it's go time. That's everything you need. And here, I do worry about the Dubu into this full damage comp. That's not exactly where I would want to be as a Dubu, but with enough speed and some survivability down the line. Sorry, that's Dubu goalie. Hey, it's time to pivot. Era midfield, still really nice, still a lot of speed.
What?
And obviously, big Dubu in the box is going to be a nightmare to get through for both Zentaro and Luna. One roll, one log kind of shuts everything that they can do out, and
no, man,
it's gonna be tough.
This sucks. I thought it was gonna be the Dubu midfield.
I was so excited.
But I like this comp from Weasel Bees a lot less after that. It's just so much less decisive in terms of scoring potential. Wee's gonna have to do a ton of work, but I think Bloom's gonna be very comfortable in the matchup.
Yeah, it's it might be a repeat of game 1 where we is kind of forced to just get KO'd over and over again. But there goes Average Alex, and all of a sudden, Weez Little Bees has a power play. They have both barriers. They have Carmine with a flip. This is looking great.
Yeah, maybe they can find something here. The passing play up to the top side. We in position to receive it. And an elusive as well as the perfect angle into the corner. It's an early lead for Weez Little Bees here. And maybe, just maybe, playtime's over.
Yeah, it could be. We are seeing full size on Weez Little Bees and a Vambrace Kazan, which I think is the right play. You know, put on your Vambrace and you need to stay alive. Like they have so little if we ever gets knocked out, and so going Vambrace is very smart here. But obviously on the other side, double siphoning one, full 1-2 punch. The damage is coming out from PPL, and again, I'm worried that this is going to be a repeat of the first game. I feel like Weez Little Bees was so comfortable on the damage, and they could still play the damage with the Dubu goalie. You know, Vice Band doesn't mean that they have to play a more core control oriented playstyle. Having that damage goalie is incredibly important, is a big boon for a damage comp, but it doesn't mean that you have to give up on it. And I'm worried that PPL might just outscale with damage here.
Yeah, Carmine will have to be a bit of an escape artist to get out of this situation, but manages to wander around, but gets comboed to the top side, and now Fiery and Average Alex, so much core speed, so much room to play. Milkman, though, looking massive, defending the open net like a beast at the moment.
Yeah, definitely. Rips the flip, doesn't need it, though, able to save it right there, and I'm looking at this comp again, and it's a lot of melee characters. Carmine has the speed, make up the mobility, but again, like, there's so much coverage coming out from Luna, from Zentaro, and if Finny is able to get going, able to push forward, kind of can't really with these portals. You know, always has to be in a position to defend the barrier, but still just so much damage coming onto Carmine and so much mobility to capitalize on a power play. PPL has a lot of control of this game, and it's we got a little bit of a nice tech out of Milkman, but it's really going to take a lot from Weez Little Bees to win here, and that's the barrier. They just need the goal here.
Yeah, PPL, they're going to have a focused mind on defense, because right now Wee is such a massive threat. Doesn't quite get the core there, and Carmine sent away, but now Bloom in a horrible situation. The flip not burned, but one more pass to Wee could create the scoring opportunity here to the top side, right to Bloom, who reacts in time to strike more win, but Wee says no with the hook. And what a brilliant point from Weez Little Bees. They hold on for so long.
Yeah, just the power of the Dubu. Dubu shows up, he says, I am bigger than you. I am stronger than you. I will not relent. And I think if Milkman gets any more size awakenings, obviously, like, Wee wants them, and that would be pretty big, but I think if this Dubu gets any bigger, that might be curtains. He's already holding on with just Pauldrons and a size awakening. And with this power play here, no Bloom means that it's going to be going straight in for Weez Little Bees. This is not how I expected this game. Been spending the whole time talking about, like, yeah, PPL's got the big damage comp. They can just kill them. It's going to be an uphill battle. But that's the first set won. Right then and there.
Yeah, this Dubu just might be their winning ticket in this one. It really feels like they have a second win in this game with that defensive goalie. Trevor was more known for the defensive goalies anyway. So it's kind of fitting that that is what shows up in a big way here. And with size on Wii, that's going to be a lot more reach. And it's going to be so difficult to get it done. A Super Surge deny. Okay, no way that was correct, bro. Like, well, hello? Hello? You just picked the spark of agility. Put the spark in the bag.
Put the spark in the bag. We didn't. Super Surge Dubu is definitely an unambitious choice, especially when heavy impact is on the board. Fiery is still going to walk away with something great. Definitely questionable, but I'm looking at size Wii here. Kazan, especially in this comp where you have the Era, you know, Era's game plan is always going to be Kit and the Brawler. Not a lot of offense on her own. Just show up and let your Brawler do all the work. Size Kazan is a guy that can do all the work. That is a one-man army, and the bigger he gets, the more threatening he is. And obviously, with PPL not taking any Demolitionists on the start, That's a massive size deficit. Wee just jumping in there, able to get the flip on the 1v1. Wee's Little Bees are kind of running away with this game. PPL does have a damage comp, and it is going to take a few sets to get online. It is not going to just show up, and it can. Sometimes it does just show up and start killing people, but when you've got the Van Brace and the Pauldrons guy, it's going to take a little bit to get going. Once it does, if it does, we could see a big shift in PPL's favor. But until then, Wee's Little Bees are just running the game.
Yeah, like you're mentioning, this early lead is so important for Wee's Little Bees. And even if PPL managed to scale, it's still going to be a difficult final push for them against the Milkman, who is holding. And of course, the Super Surge Dubu, it does do damage. So if you're up close, if you're fiery, you could get blown up.
Yeah, and hey, Zentaro taking a Super Surge Dubu dash, Super Surge Pauldron Dubu, you don't want to. That's like half your health bar. Just ripped immediately. Being said, Wee has just been taking the brunt of this damage, has been having to play back, grab these orbs, and just in a really awkward spot. Just regenning on the portal here, but Milkman looking low, and that's going to be a flip for Average Alex, putting it in. I think first point on the board for PPL this game, that's going to be a little bit of a momentum shift in their favor, and they definitely want that. This game has not been going too well for them. If they're starting to get the damage rolling. We're seeing it here. As long as it continues, we could be seeing a swing in PPL's favor. Until then, though, again, I feel like Wee's Little Bees just has so much more control, and they're so much more comfortable and confident here.
Yeah, and they're taking meticulous measures to make sure that Wee stays alive, right? Even though he's being damaged so much, he's always on the offense, being knocked around in the enemy goal box, finally taken out, and Carmine to the other side of the world, but they still maintain 2 barriers. Milkman just defending the corner over and over and over again, and I look up and suddenly the respawn's already coming in.
Yeah, a fantastic hold out of Wee's Little Bees, and both barriers up, no problem. Power play, don't care. Dubu time, and that's all it takes. Meanwhile, they've got this corner offense rolling, and Carmine just keeping it in there. Milkman pushing up too, swapping into the other corner, not able to get the barrier, but again, Wee's Little Bees, they always have the core. It is not in the hands of PPL at all, and every time they get it, they have to get through the Milkman, and he's just going Dubu mode, and how do you beat it?
Yeah,
how are they going to beat it?
And Wee saying, I could see right through you with the hook into strike, winning against Bloom in so many of these 1v1s, and importantly, with these portals on Gates of Obscura, those 1v1s are set up over and over as long as Wee has prudent positioning, and he does.
Yeah, again, this was Wee's Little Bees map pick, and we are just seeing it in full force. They look so comfortable here, able to just keep funneling Wee, allow him to fully play his game. 13 redirects, 13 goals, that's what it's all about. And like, Carmine is again taking the damage. He is the best target, doesn't have any sort of damage reduction or healing to keep him alive, but he's still here, mostly full health, and PPL is just not able to get this damage rolling. They aren't able to get this last barrier, and they got the last barrier, but still, just Wee's Little Bees has so much control. PPL has to work so hard here to get anything done.
And a lot of it is just that, okay, well, Average Alex with the great boost through.
Boom!
This game's a lot closer to even than it seems. It's by how we're talking, you would think that Wee's Little Bees are on their final set, but no, we're 1 goal away from an even game. But also 1 goal away from a staggeringly large lead for Wee's Little Bees. So we'll see how this point pans out, but with Wee in the corner, a connoisseur, some might say, and it's going to be difficult for Bloom to get out of there. The flip burned, a lot of damage put on Wee, and finally the KO coming through. But Milkman and Carmine, they have so much room. They could stall this out forever, it feels like.
Yeah, PPL dropping a barrier in the power play. Carmine just keeping in the corner, close to a flip too. Like, they navigated that power play immaculately. Wee is back. Carmine is getting the barrier with the flip. Like you said, this game is a lot closer, but still, just all the Super Surge, all the control that Wee's Little Bees has is just yielding them points. All of a sudden, it is not that close anymore.
Yeah, and Wee shooting for victory here. 2 sets up are Wee's Little Bees. And this Dubu is completely unrestrained. has the pick of the litter. Could even deny Deadeye if he wanted to, honestly. You know, Milkman, just pick whatever. I don't care if it's wrong. Just don't pick Monument. Okay.
Feel free. Extra special, delightful. We're going to be seeing so many more walls. That is Deadeye and Ad Rush, though. This is it. You know, like set 3, the damage comp needs to be online, and Deadeye and Adrenaline Rush are 2 massive picks, especially the Adrenaline Rush. We saw that PPL started fighting back that last set. It's, I think, a big reason why they were able to keep it so close. That Adrenaline Rush could change the game. It is so strong. It doesn't matter how many times you nerf it. Getting 1 second off your CDs and a massive CDR, big just drop on your CDs and speed after a KO. Like, Carmine is low, Fiery's closing in. This is the opportunity. And the Deadeye to boot. Like, we've been seeing Average Alex not put in as much work as in Game 1 on the Luna, but still incredibly valuable. That's the Ad Rush proc, and this is... PPL has to bring it back here.
Yeah, this, with that kind of draft, with those kinds of picks on 2 and 3, if they don't bring it back, like...
GG.
It's over. Like, not just the fact that they lose the game, but, like, they need to get something done here. And with the KO on the other end, it's not going to be that easy. A perfect NATO from Carmine to completely stuff the corner. And Average Alex is going to have to find some kind of Luna boost play here. Because although they're damaging WEEB, it's just not consistent enough. They're not getting the resets. And right now, Carmine and WEEB just playing the corner, looking for the strike war. And PPL constantly on the back foot.
Yeah, PPL, again, stuck in their net. If they can KO WEEB, they can get something big going. But WEEB going on an orb adventure, able to get both. And all of a sudden is looking pretty healthy. Like, we've got Milkman here, a flip. He's still so big and just holding on right here. It is so hard for PPL to mount an offense, get through this Dubu. Like, really, what do you do? It just takes something like that. Just a little bit of luck, a little bit of a nice shot, and they have what they need. PPL really just, if they can find a KO, if they can find anything here, it's going to be big. Average Alex using the boost, going to be a harsh CD to lose right there, because that is something that would be great for putting it in the meantime. Just WEEB is low, we're seeing some passing, but this is PPL's opportunity, and that's going to be putting it in the slashing strike. 1 point for PPL. They have to start bringing it back here. This is where it begins. This is where the game truly begins.
Yeah, it's like they're saying playtime's over here, but they need to say it to themselves because they need to lock in at the moment. WEEB taking so much damage here, gets out of there, but this corner is controlled by WEEB's Little Bees. WEEB low, but running away. Milkman just so large on the other side, and now a flip. Carmine setting up, looking for a strike war win. Strike war win after strike war win, forcing out the flip. Another one. Carmine just won 5 strike wars in a row in the corner. And oh no, PPL, you're in so much trouble now as the net's open yet again with no barriers taken on the other side.
Yeah, and here just we see WEEB's Little Bees with a great passing play. They had the core, they had possession, they were able to get it going. That's going to be another point for WEEB's Little Bees. 2 more, and that's the end of the series. That's WEEB's Little Bees maintaining their spot in the playoffs race and putting PPL in a terrible position. And right now, like, they are just all 3 sweeping this corner, not letting anything go out. Average Alex with a boost too, getting out of the corner there, leaving Bloom and Fiery to defend. And they're able to keep up this 1 barrier, but WEEB's Little Bees have been having so many opportunities to do just that, have that much pressure being put out, and all of a sudden, things are looking in favor for PPL with that damage.
Average Alex, the shooting star, does not land onto WEEB, unfortunately. And PPL, they're ramping up a little bit, but they're going to need some more fast-paced gameplay, some more damage, some more consistency here, as right now, they're not just getting the KOs consistently enough.
Yeah, and again, we see WEEB's Little Bees with a very consistent comp. The Dubu will continue to hold. The Era will always have presence in the midfield, and the Kazan is, I think, the piece that can waver the most, but with this Vambrace, it's so difficult to KO him, and it's just that easy to be getting these barriers, and the Super Surge roll out! Milkman able to save that barrier, and WEEB's Little Bees just, again, they have the consistency, so they have control of the game. They get to do whatever they want here.
Another goal, another perfect pass from Milkman to WEEB. And now it's the last chance. Backs against the wall for PPL. Their playoff hopes on the line. They need to win this to have a good chance at playoffs. The Wee's Little Bees need to win this to have a chance at all. And right now it's looking like Wee's Little Bees want it more. They're unyielding, it feels like, in this final set. But there's a big KO from Fiery. Pushing forward now, trying to find a little bit of pressure in the corner. So much damage onto Wii. There's almost a KO, but almost is not enough to continue this power play. And there it is, Adrenaline Rush proc when it matters most. Bloom forward, Milkman down. The goal scored, and PPL bring it to a final point in this critical set.
Oh, this is it. PPL needs a repeat of that point if they want to stay in the game, and we are just... I feel like every time PPL goes down to, like, the brink, they sit back and say, we have a lot of damage. This is how we win. But the NATO parting the PPL Cs. We're seeing a KO, Bloom down, Average Alex with the flip, a ton of damage onto Fiery. This is a phenomenal chance for Wee's Little Bees to end it right here, but unable to so far.
Yeah, but that NATO did so much damage as well, right? But there's a perfect big finish. Bloom, the professor of curvature, in the building. Gets it out of there, evens up the barriers, and it was a doomed point for PPL, but it's beautiful for them right now. Not quite, as Fiery goes down. Carmine low, but Bloom forced into a defensive situation once again. The wall, perfect. The barrier still maintained. The elusive against the NATO. They get it out, but there's still the barrier take. But it goes to the other side of the world, and Carmine will save it. The barrier still stands.
The barrier up, Carmine a little low, but Wii has the core jumping in. The save is made by PPL, and massive core speed coming out from Average Alex. Massive damage coming out. Carmine able to stay alive, but if Fiery can get this KO, that's another ad rush proc, and that's how they won that last point. They really need this, but the hook! The Carmine, the everything! Wee's Little Bees able to collapse in the corner and secure that point, secure the game, secure the series after playing Juliette Goalie game 1.
Yeah. We just gets in there, shoots for victory, finds it in a critical 5th point in this 3rd set, finishes the 3-0 sweep of PPL in this one. And PPL, unfortunately, that is a tough loss.
They are not out of it yet, but now PPL has to stare down EKC, claim a victory against them if they want to even have a chance, like make tiebreakers, have a chance at making playoffs. The playoffs race is so close here. And so every advantage that any team can take is going to be a massive boon. PPL not getting theirs here puts them in such a tough position. Because again, even if they beat EKC, they still, that's not guaranteed. We'll have to see what happens in week 9 to see if a win against EKC would even pan out to a glimpse at tiebreakers, a glimpse at playoffs, anything. Meanwhile, Wee's Little Bees just never giving up, never surrendering. Like you said, they are just...
They got that unyielding spirit on them, you know?
They got that unyielding spirit on them, and it's keeping them afloat. What is that? That's 3-5 right now, which means they are not mathematically out yet. It is still such a big mountain to climb if they want to make it, but they're still in it. It is not over for Wee's Little Bees yet.
Yeah, and as the season draws to close, all they're doing is ramping up, it feels like. It's just looking better and better for them. But for now, there's only one match left in the day. It's going to be Bum Bum Bonanza versus Sundubu Strikers, another very, very important matchup to see who will make playoffs. No one is out just yet. Everyone can still make it, and only 2 teams are locked. Who will take the last miraculous step? Well, that question will be found next week and maybe a little bit in this next game. So don't go anywhere, and we'll see you soon.